Yeah, that's us from before. You're tuned to Fringe FM, where memory transmits forever. Yo.
For you, I could recognize myself. You tore into, now I'm someone else. The times you found me weak and took me underneath, I failed to cast aside the voice of disbelief. Come back into these arms is what you begged of me. Commit to sacrifice, I'm crying to be free. Whoa, didn't they try to tell me? No, they can't hear me now. I recognize myself. You told and now I'm someone else who can go on, not the way you do, 'cause I fallen, turning back and blue. The fire and light choked and drowned inside of me, in toxic waves as far as naked eyes can see. I'd give anything to get it all back now that it's too far gone. And everyone talks, but no one knows the shadow that I've become. I recognize myself.
Tired of waking up in the same reality? Try DreamCore Sleep Solutions trademark. Our patented Delta Wave algorithm locks you into the dream you deserve. DreamCore, because some nights should never end. DreamCore, where you stay asleep for good.
This Halloween night, Fringe FM becomes Haunted Radio. Then, at 7 p.m., the curtain rises for the Sinister Symphony, a brand new horror radio drama. It's one night only, and tickets are disappearing fast. Get yours now at Eventbrite. Haunted Radio, here on Fringe FM.
Say in your mind, say to yourself,
Oh, shit.
I am more than my physical body. Because I am more than physical matter, I can perceive that which is greater than the physical world. I deeply desire to expand, to experience,
What's going on?
to understand, to control, to use such greater energies and energy systems as may be beneficial and constructive to me and to those who follow me. I deeply desire the help and cooperation, the assistance, the understanding of those individuals whose wisdom, development, and experience are equal to or greater than my own. I ask their guidance and protection from any influence or any source that might provide me with less than my stated desires.
Do not know all the answers to the questions about reality. Do not claim to know the ultimate truth about fire. have just been made hidden. As a part of a family amongst glories of consciousness. I'm the void
Welcome to Lighting the Void.
Broadcasting live from a shack on a hill in the Mossy Creek bottoms of Cane Creek, Arkansas. This is Lighting the Void live on Fringe.fm. Fringe. It's not FringeFM.com. It's not FringeFM.net. It's just Fringe.fm. And then we're also live on the Lighting the Void YouTube channel where we have the chat going, the chat. What's up, Domek, April, Wolf, Dutchie? What's up, guys? It's a hang night. It's Thursday. We always hang out Thursday. We got Flying Bryce in the studio, and we've got Gypsy Jenny also in the studio. Hopefully we got some stories to tell today. I mean, this might just be a storytelling day, although I do, try to keep a general question for the night to talk about, but Jenny says she's got some more stuff she wants to share to us about deja vu. But I will say this, it was a weird night last night, for sure. I got off kind of late because we tend to hang out in the production room a little bit after the show. And I got off late. By the way, the production room is open, okay? Just like the chat and everything else. You can be involved with this broadcast as much as you want to be. I mean, the production room in the Discord is kind of conserved for a certain set of people that or friends, producers, donors, things like that. But most of you, if you're thinking, do I have access to it? You probably do, just to be honest with you. But you could call into the show, you can chime in, you can chat in, you can jump in the production Discord, you can chat in Discord. So what I'm saying is you can get as much as involved as you want. However, it's important that we respect each other and that we're nice to each other. Treat everybody the way you want to be treated. Unless you just want to be treated like shit, then we probably won't tolerate that. But other than that, just be cool. It's not hard, right? When you go to a party and some say, man, just be cool. Same kind of thing, Anywho, it was a strange night last night. I tossed and turned for the past few nights. I don't know what's up, but I've just been tossing and turning. Didn't get to bed till 2, something like that. So I slept for a few hours. I didn't have an out-of-body experience, but I had a dream about having an out-of-body experience. I don't know if you've ever done that, but I've done that. So you're kind of dreaming that you're getting out of body, but it's not really like an etheric out-of-body. I'm not saying it's not an out-of-body experience, but it's not the same as the kind of etheric out-of-body experience. Anyways, I forget what I was dreaming about. I'm pretty sure I was just in the throes of dreaming about separating from my body. And then I heard this ruckus. So just so you know, I'm in the shack. This is the shack. The shack is built beside 2 more sections and what's a massive building, a 3-car garage. So there's the shack in here, this whole living space, and then 2 garage units on each side. And I hear this ruckus. I'm in hypnagogia. I wake up and I hear this just ruckus and I hear hooves and I'm thinking, hooves? What the hell? And it's pitch dark out here. For someone to come up the driveway and try to get into this place would be insane because they're going to get a lead sandwich. So I'm thinking, man, we were just talking about spirits and all this other stuff. Is it Baphomet? What the hell has hooves? When you're in hypnagogia, your brain's not working. It's not working properly like it would if you were fully conscious. So my mind's not working right. So I go to the door and I lock it and I pick up this big oak stick. I'm not thinking, what am I going to do with this? And now I'm starting to wake up, right? I'm realizing it's not Baphomet. I don't know what that is, but it's pretty freaky sounding. Open the door, nothing but pitch blackness out there. We don't even have a street light. And I can hear hoof just hoofs next to me in the shop, moving stuff around in the shop. And sure enough, it was a damn horse. A horse got out somewhere down the road across the street and decided to come up all the way up into this property, come around and get into the shop and start going through stuff. So, yeah, I didn't get any sleep after that. I was up after that. I was trying to rally the horse back into whoever's property it was. And I just couldn't sleep after that. So running on about a few hours sleep and interaction with a witching hour horse. That's got to be some kind of omen, though, I think. I always look at that stuff like it's an omen or whatever. But thank God I didn't spook them too bad. You know, I did spook them, though, when I went out there. But thank God I didn't spook them too bad where I was worried about someone was going to hit the thing, you know, because it's dark for I'd say 3 miles down the road this way and 3 miles down the road that way. It's just pitch dark. So even the horses that are pinned up down there, if they got in a road and a car was coming down the street, it would have been a bad deal, man. Bad deal. So, yeah. So I didn't manifest a goblin or a dwarf. It was a horse, actually. And I'm going to go ahead and take that as an omen, you know. Why not, you know? So anyways, tonight is kind of a break. I want to talk about kind of a break off from what we talked about last night, if you don't mind. And the reason why is because the subjects we talk about split off in so many directions that we got to kind of try to keep it in check. So last night we talked about is this reality like a deep dream that we're all sharing and creating together, or is it really like a simulation kind of thing? Or is it both, you know? And then we talked about deja vu a lot, and we brought up Robert Monroe's adventures, who we've went all the way through from the beginning to the end of his adventures. And from what I understand is he was guided by his future self. So then that begs the question. If Robert Monroe were here today and we had him on the broadcast, that would be one question that I would ask him. Are we being guided by our future selves? And in what way is that, you know? Like the intuition thing. If you remember the story I talked about last night, stories that you have yourself when you get a deep intuition and you know something's about to happen, and it does. Not a belief, you just know. Where's that coming from? From the future? So the way Monroe put it in his books is he says there's this I there. He called it the I there. So there's the I here. There's the I there. In religious terms, that would be the I here, me, myself, and I, and my holy guardian angel, or my guardian angel, so to speak. Or you could look at it like the higher self composed of all versions of you across all time and space. So this kind of opens the door to a whole conversation about fate and deja vu and the premonitions that we get and the feeling of being nudged by something. And I know you get those feelings. There's not one person I've ever had a conversation with that I said, hey, man, do you ever feel like something's guiding you or nudging you along in kind of a way? I know we like to blow it up in our heads and think that we have some gigantic destiny, and maybe we do, but that feeling that we're being nudged is always there, like something's pushing us along the way, something that already knows the outcome, like you could just kind of feel it. It already knows what's going to happen. So that is the question on my mind tonight, you know, to open the door to something that what we'd like to do on the fringe world is to something that feels impossible to normal society, but strangely familiar. So here's what I want you to ask yourself. Have you ever made, and some of these are rhetorical, but like, have you ever made a decision that you knew was right? You knew it was right, but really couldn't explain why. You couldn't tell. People might ask you, well, why'd you do that? Or why'd you make that decision? And there was a time in your life where you were probably like, I just knew that that's the decision I had to make. So Or it could come like a warning, like I was talking about last night, or a pull, like something just beyond time whispered, like, hey, man, go this way. Don't go that way. You know. In the text that we just got through reading, Robert Monroe met a version of himself that, not in a dream, but in another layer of reality, a future self that was guiding him across lifetimes. We all, in my opinion, this is only my opinion, and it's only based on my experience. I'm not trying to push it on you, but I feel like we all have something nudging us and guiding us along through these lifetimes and this life, for sure. But are we being guided by our future selves? That's the bigger question. Not that, are we being guided by something? That's kind of a given to me, but is it our future self that's guiding us? Like, I'd like to think it's a holy guardian angel or God or something like that, but what if it's just like our future self? And if we are, then what happens? Here's where stuff gets cool, and this is a massively rhetorical question because I have direct experience with this. What happens when we start listening? Not ignoring it, but listening to it, communicating with it, having a relationship with it of some kind, learning to speak with it. You know, that's what they call magic, so to speak, right? Or dream work. Learning to speak with this thing that's nudging us along. Or synchronicities, what Jung talks about quite a bit. So if you tune in tonight, I'm going to try to carry on this conversation too. So we went through journeys out of the body, far journeys. Journeys Out of the Body was when he was in his etheric. That's my favorite book, the first one, still to this day, just because I know that world a little bit. Then book 2, Far Journeys, he starts meeting entities, you know, not really sure where he's at, messing around with what he calls an M-band noise. Crazy adventurous things happen. Some of it's kind of weird and wacky, but... And then Ultimate Journey. And in Ultimate Journey, his final book, he starts discovering the truth of his own explorations, that he's the one guiding himself through this whole thing. Monroe described his encounters with what he called the I there. I don't know, he comes up with some weird-ass names. And you have to remember the I there isn't like, it's not a one thing. It's not like you somewhere else. The I there was a vast collection of intelligences made up of all of his incarnations into one thing. Not just some holy guardian angel, not one being, but the I there. You know, if you want to put it in religious terms, I am that I am kind of thing. But it was all of his lifetimes, all these intelligences made up of all his incarnations guiding him. That's too crazy to even comprehend for our minds. But that's what he called it. That's how he explained it. And one of those selves was him. But ahead of him, like in the future, it was him, but it was him in the future. The inspect that he would go talk to that we all thought was an alien in the book ended up actually being his future self guiding him and talking to him. A consciousness that had already walked the road and reached back kind of with a light, so to speak. So, saying all that, this is only a fringe consideration, but saying all that, maybe deja vu isn't repetition at all. Maybe that's what we call intuition. When the I there guides us and we happen to listen, even for a half a second, and it feels like a massive synchronization or something, right? And that deja vu feeling that we get, it's not repetition. What if it's, you know, that repetition idea, like you're like, oh, I've been here before. What if it's just recognition? Two different words, two different concepts, but we can explore this retro-causally if you want to. Like, I've had a bit of precog before, and it made me feel like when it came true, I haven't had a whole lot of precog dreams, but I've had a couple, and it made me feel like when they came true, this idea of time was an illusion. The strange truth that the future is actually already here in some form, just waiting to be almost like some of the shit's hard to explain, but almost like it's calling us home in a sense. So I don't know if either one of you can chime in, but Jenny, can you chime in, or are you on the road? Because I'd like to hear your stories, or Bryce. You know, your intuition. The other day you said your intuition was usually it's something warning you, right? Isn't that what you said yesterday, Bryce?
Yeah, I'm on the road. I'll be in a sec.
You said that that's usually a warning?
Mm-hmm.
How come it's never, I'm just curious, like, how come it's never like something good, though?
Or, you know, the whole Rolex story. I don't know. I don't know if you remember me telling you about the Rolex story.
I'm sorry, brother. Tell us about it one more. It's fine. I want to hear it.
So I would go about once every few months to the jewelry store with my dad, so he'd get his rings clean. And one day we were sitting outside the shop, and I just started saying, you know, thinking about a Rolex, and I even wrote it down on a piece of paper and put it inside my pocket. And when I went in, the shopkeeper started trying to sell my dad a Rolex.
Really?
Yeah.
I got a confession to make, bro. I don't remember this story. Sorry. That's crazy.
That's okay.
No, that's crazy though, right? So like, is that something that you? It doesn't even seem that important.
No.
So that kind of, but it might be. Like, it might be important in some kind of way. Like, what kind of feeling did you get when you?
I don't know. I just started thinking about, you know, a Rolex.
You think you manifested?
I don't know if I manifested or what, but it was just to the point to where I just remember thinking, you know, what if there, you know, I just remember the word Rolex coming to me more or less, you know.
Yeah. I mean, that's something for sure. That's not necessarily bad or a warning or anything, you know.
No, but it is kind of, it's unusual.
I get a weird feeling sometimes that like our future self is I don't know, like it's trying to talk to us. Imagine how frustrating it would be if you're like just bear with me or be like who you are right now isn't really you. The real you is kind of outside your physical body in this I there space. And it wants to talk to you, but it doesn't really speak English. It speaks in nonverbal communication, symbols, things like that. And this physical you that's on the earth can't even see you, much less acknowledge you. And you know everything. Like think about it. Like you know everything that it needs to do and what's best for it, and all of the decisions you can. And if you could only take its fear away, if you could only help it manifest things, and yet you can't just directly speak to it because of this frequency shift, I guess you could call it, between physical earth and the spiritual realm or whatever, astral, whatever you want to call it. So, like Bryce's Rolex story, what if it, because I've had that stuff like that happen a lot in my life, honestly. And I wonder if that's just like maybe the I there just saying, hey, I'm here, man, you know, like that's just like evidence that I'm here, you know. Recognition. You know how I said maybe deja vu isn't repetition, that it's recognition? Maybe that's all that was about the Rolex. Probably didn't have a deeper meaning or anything. Or it could be cognitive like bias, you know, because you thought about a Rolex. Now your consciousness starts focusing on it.
But the catch to that is every time I'd ever been to that jewelry store with my dad, they'd never had a Rolex. On the
that is kind of trippy though.
But the guy was actively trying to sell my dad that watch.
Huh. Maybe you were supposed to warn him, like, don't buy the Rolex or buy the Rolex. You know?
Well, he didn't buy the Rolex. I didn't have to talk him out of it.
I mean, I've had stuff like that, like a sudden like flash that's like, don't go that way. Turn left, call that person right now. I've had those kind of voices, and I usually try to follow them. But I still wonder, is that like coincidence or communication? Because here's the thing. We like to think there is a psychological process that happens with manifestation and synchronicity that we need to acknowledge. It's the elephant in the room, because if you don't acknowledge it, then you're just being woo. Okay, and it's okay to be woo, but you got to acknowledge some truths. First off, I talked to you about this, Bryce, the other day. That actually, I think you talked to me about it, but I understood what you were saying. Say, for instance, you go to buy a car, and it's a certain color, it's a certain model, a certain trim, and nobody has that car. You really want that car. You get that car, and you're like, nobody has this car. And then all of a sudden, you get on the road, and you see them everywhere. You see them all over the place. I know that's happened to you because I hear people talk about it all the time. It's happened to me. You start noticing all these damn cars that look just like yours. It's not magic. It's not a coincidence. Your unconscious wasn't paying attention to any of those cars until you had a car, until you got yours. And now when you see one, your consciousness darts and sees it and focuses on it like a laser focus kind of thing. That's what your, quote, regular consciousness does. It's just a laser kind of like focus that focuses on certain things at a certain time. But your unconscious is taking in everything all the time. And so when we move our laser focus to something like that, we think, well, it's magic or it's synchronization or it's manifestation. Not really. That's just a shift in your consciousness. For example, the advertisers know this stuff, Like the reason why they show you the same stupid, repetitive, obnoxious commercials all the time with the same little jingle and the same thing, you could be focused on something totally different, but they're playing that Baby Shark in the back of your head all the time, right? Baby Shark, they're playing that, their own version of Baby Shark. And then one day you're driving down the road and you're like, I got a craving for McDonald's. That's weird. I don't even like McDonald's. Because they know how the unconscious works. That's not magic. That's like a cognitive kind of bias thing where you not really a cognitive bias, but it's more like all of a sudden now your consciousness is focusing on something that it never did before but always existed. So therefore you perceive it like it's just all of a sudden in your reality. And so magic works on that level, like manifestation and magic work on that level halfway. There is a metaphysical side to it for sure too, but you smell what I'm stepping in, don't you, Bryce? The car thing. I think you told it a little different though, didn't you?
It's like when you're shopping for a car and you find one you like, then all of a sudden you see those cars all over the road. Yeah, it's kind of the same principle. It works the other way too, like you were talking about.
I give you
from
another
time
one.
to time.
I'm probably gonna piss some people off, but and I'm not trying to deflate what we're talking about tonight. In fact, I'm trying to make it more sensible to you so that you can experience it. But angel numbers 1111, 222, 444, 666. Okay. When you look at the clock and it does something like that, you can be all like superstitious about it and say, I'm getting a message or whatever. But that's kind of the same thing. Your consciousness just it will see it when the clock turns like that. And if you're being really honest with yourself, you'd be like, hey, my consciousness actually focused on the clock when it turned that number. That's a cool coincidence. Instead of saying, oh, it's 444, it must be something magical or it must be an angel thing or something like that. It's just the same kind of thing that I'm talking to you about with the cars that's happening too. I'm like I said, I don't want to deflate this thing. I want to kind of prove it a little more. It is in your head to an extent. The thing is like you don't know how big your head is. Your consciousness, like what Monroe is talking about, it extends past the physical world. It extends into the metaphysical world. So if we can just get past our own bullshit, we might actually start figuring out what some of this stuff is. If we can get past our own things that we think it is, like the times that you have like a sudden flash or a knowing or a voice that said, hey, turn left or don't do that or call that person right now. You could say that that's a psychological thing, right? That's something that's just in your head, and it was nothing. It didn't mean anything. But in my opinion, the first thought that comes in your mind is the nudge. Everything after, the doubt, well, maybe the second you start doubting all this stuff, after you have that first intuitive nudge, you're blocking your own intuition, or what some people call psychic ability. I mean, the very first thing that comes to your head, usually, is that intuitive thing. You're going down the road, there's a fork in the road, and you're like, oh, crap, do I turn left or right? And a voice comes at left, for sure. And then all of a sudden you start saying, no, right. No, it's not. Maybe it's left. I don't know. Why is it left? Is that my head? And you just block the entire nudge, the entire intuitive process. And so when you get out of body, it's kind of the same thing. You know, when you get out of body, it's almost like the same thing. The moment you start doubting stuff, or the moment you start trying to control everything, or you don't go with the flow, kind of, or let your higher self lead, then you're going to do what happened to me. You're just going to be stuck near your body, maybe flying around in your yard and not really going anywhere, you know. But what's up, Sudi? But was it coincidence? That's what we have to ask ourselves, man. Was this a coincidence, or was it an actual communication of some kind, you know? Like, you know, people that say they're psychic and they can predict the future. Well, maybe we don't predict the future. Maybe we're just remembering it backwards sometimes, you know. That makes any sense. Sudi, you got something to say on this? Have you been listening, or did you just chime in? Well, I guess she's got nothing to say on it. I think I've seen your thing light up. I'm trying to get Discord in the show. It's been working pretty good though. Let's see. Let me go to chat and see what you guys are saying. Huey P. Burrito says, what if deja vu is your consciousness across different selves and other dimensions? That's exactly what he's saying. But what he's saying is your consciousness is yourself across different, not just dimensions, but timelines, realities, everything. You know,
That's where I was gonna go with it.
What, with the deja vu thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, by all means.
Well, no, it was just that the different timelines, like the many worlds theory, but then also what you said of what Monroe had said about your future self. So it was like a little bit of the combination of the two. That's what I was thinking about at work today.
Yeah.
And just in that moment, your other selves are like kind of syncing up for that second, however long it lasts. That's how many yous are lining up together. Maybe, I don't know.
Right. Yeah.
I was all over with it.
No, but that's what I think it is. It's a recognition, not a remembering, you know, like, yeah, exactly. Man, I was thinking there was a time, not just that time when I was going into the trailer. I have dude. Sometimes I've had dreams too. This stuff happens in dreams too. The communication. I had a dream one time that, I was in front of my grandma's house, which I think my unconscious was involved as well. It usually is. But there was these like little men like stacking up bricks in a hole in the ground. And they were singing in the dream. I hadn't watched this was the craziest out of the blue dream I've ever had. And they were putting in like one brick at a time around the hole, singing about it, you know, like whistle while you work, one brick at a time. It was a song that my head made up. And then out of that hole came like this skeleton with like an Egyptian mask, and it tried to attack me. And then a pink, I told you guys about the pink snake that slithered across the grass. And as soon as I put my foot on its head, it kind of like, it lost all its color. And then as the dream started to end, a voice, not my voice, but, well, it was technically my voice, but a voice in a loud yelling manner said, "Hey, Joe, take a new direction." Like loud. And it freaked me out so bad. I ran outside, and my neighbor was sitting outside just chilling, and he jumped out of his skin in his chair. He's like, "What just happened?" I said, "Dude, I had the craziest dream, man. I got a message." And I ran and got my notebook, and I was writing it all down. And I thought I knew what it meant at the time, but it wasn't even until like almost a year or two later when I realized, oh shit, man, I mean, maybe that's what it meant. And that's still changing today. So that's what I mean by maybe our future selves are the signal. Okay? Echoing backwards through time, guiding us towards a timeline that it wants us to try to achieve, where we finally wake up. I mean, I'll just cut to the chase. Where we finally actually really, quote, wake up from this, either whatever you want to call it, NPC simulation, or, collective conscious dreamscape that we're all totally asleep in and freaked out in, And the more I ask that question, everything that I've personally experienced, please don't take this as me like pushing this on you. But everything I've personally experienced, I feel like that's what's happening. I can't prove this. I want to prove it. But I want to know the truth more. So not only would I have to get out of my first etheric body, but I have to figure out how to get out of the second body and go talk to my theirs or whatever to try to figure this out for myself. But there is really no, what I'm trying to say is there really is no time the way we perceive time. The whole freaking thing about being on Earth is an illusion. The sun, it's all, obviously this, right? It gets dark and then it gets light and the sun's in the sky for a certain amount of hours. And if you perceive that from a perspective of not even knowing space, and you're like, oh, this is ultimate reality and this is how we count time. But there really is no time. There's just one grand moment that you've slowed down enough in a dense enough vibration that it feels like time as you're growing. But these other messages, they seem to come like a flash, either through dreams or your first instinct or a synchronicity. And what I want to challenge everybody to do is, like, don't sit on your ass and do nothing. Like, go after what you want to go after. Like, start treating life like an adventure in a way. Don't be reckless and irresponsible and none of that shit, but start treating life like an adventure. And then every time you just test it out. Don't do it for the rest of your life. Just test it out. Every time you have that first intuitive thought, don't let your brain cover it up with doubt. Just don't let it. Follow it just to see what happens. Right. When you have a synchronicity, write it down, because it might have a much deeper meaning that's going to take you some time to figure out. When you have a dream that seems like it has symbols in it, write it down, because it may take you years even to unplug the vast, deep message of this dream that has so many truths in it all at once. So when you think you figured your dream out because you think that your unconscious or your I there communicates with you the same way you communicate, you'll start to realize later as you uncover the dream symbolism that it's communicating on a multi-dimensional level, which, again, would prove, if that were the case, what Monroe is talking about. Because if your I there from multi-dimensions and multiple timelines is talking to you, and symbols are that powerful where they can reveal that many truths at once, how would all those things talk to you? It'd be chaos to try to talk to them all at once, wouldn't it? But through symbols, it wouldn't. Through dreams, it wouldn't. Through little nudges and synchronicity, it wouldn't. All right. Anyways, any of you guys want to chime in before we go into the break? We still got a few more minutes, but the top of the hour thing. I could take this in 9 different directions, but I want to kind of stay on course here. So then here's the question, right? Do I look at the horse? Most people would. The horse being in the shop, in the shack. Just this random crazy thing that happened while I'm trying to get out of body. Do I look at that? Because I'm just giving you an example. Do I look at that as something's nudging me, or it's an omen of some kind? I could. But what I really need to do is what was my first instinct? And my first instinct was, when this horse got into the shack, my first instinct was, no, something drew it in here. But I had a little deja vu moment, yeah, okay, I've been here before, maybe for a second, but I don't think that it was some message or some big omen or anything like that. I think it was just a horse that jumped over the fence, that got lost, and I happened to wake up at the right time. That's my first instinct. What came in later was cognitive stuff like, oh man, it must have been an omen. It must have been this, or man, it must have been real special. Yeah, that's what it was. It was an omen. It happened just for me. That's the ego. What I'm telling you is, though, based on my theory, this is only my theory, if I'd have woke up as soon as I realized it was a horse and I'd have had that first instinct, this is a message. Then obviously after that, this is like the yang of the yin of what I just said previously. Obviously that message would be covered up with doubts and all kinds of different thoughts and things. Why it's not a message. But that first nudge, that first thing is usually closest to the truth. I mean, come on, ladies, like you guys have deeper intuition than most of us. You really do. Every time I've ever heard a woman go, man, that dude, and especially when they do it quick, that guy over there freaking creeps me out. Really? Why?
Yeah.
You know, and then I'm like, why? And you could tell it's like their first instinct. He didn't seem like a creep. Then you go talk to him for a little while. You hang out with him for a little while. You're like, oh shit, this guy is a creep.
Yeah, that exact thing happened to me at work.
You know?
My buddy was like, nah, he's quiet. He's cool. I was like, no, that dude is creepy. He has women locked up in his basement right now. Like, he's a fucking creep.
Or maybe he
And
wants to
found
have
out.
women locked up in his basement.
Yeah. He turned out to be a creep. My buddy was like, how'd you know? I was like, I just knew. Creepy fucking smile. I was like, everybody thought Ted Bundy was a nice guy too. And look what happened with him.
Yeah, right. And yeah, right. And Jeffrey Dahmer, they said that about him too. Such a nice guy. But I guarantee you, a few people got that. It's that very first instinct, that gut feeling you get, you know. And a lot of times, if you want to get super conspiratorial about it and play with your fear, a lot of times you can prevent yourself from being manipulated if you really tap into your intuition really well. You know, if you start learning to listen to it, start developing a relationship with your eye there, you can stop the bullshit before it happens. But I like to think about it from a point of view where, you know, it's better to use it to help myself and others, not just protect myself all the time. But that's just my point of view, and explore my own consciousness too. All right, so we are at the top of the hour. We got to pay for the licensing for the radio station. The Halloween thing is coming together. We are reading lines. The drama's coming together. We're going to have our own drama. It's pretty right around the road, man. You'll, like, I don't even want to talk about it because I'm going to get sad. As soon as Halloween's over, I get sad. I get depressed. I don't know if it's seasonal depression. I don't know what it is. But this is my favorite time of the year. So we will be doing a Halloween special right here on the Fringe FM. Keep it here. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Y'all stay in the production room. Stay in my cave. What'd you call it? Stay in my...
Down here on Planet Zero, they swing that devil hard. No words, no peace, no advocate, no signs of life so far. Better pray for the soul of the citizen. Better pray that you're not erased. On
This portion of the show is being brought to you by new 1040Os, the delicious pasta treat shaped like tiny IRS income tax forms. So if you find mealtime taxing, try new 1040Os. It tastes like an audit in your mouth.
Strange thing, every night around this time, the station plays the same frequency drift.
Confirmed. Sequence repeats every 86,400 seconds. Cause unknown.
Feels like deja vu, or maybe time's just buffering.
You've said this.
Huh. Maybe I have.
End of loop approaching. Reset in 3, 2.
You're listening to Fringe FM, and so am I. In the static between worlds, you found us. Fringe FM.
This portion of the show is being brought to you by Specs McDouglas, your friendly local eye doctor who's an expert on everything from myopia to nearsightedness. Mention this ad and Specs will examine any two of your eyes for the price of one.
I was in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean when it happened. There was a sudden jolt and our submarine crashed on the seafloor. We were in total darkness.
That's Dr. Dejana Figueroa, a marine biologist and STEM teacher, talking about a deep sea dive she'll never forget.
It's funny, when I was a kid, I was afraid of the ocean, and there I was, 2 miles below the surface. But as a scientist, you prepare for that. Using our training and a little creativity, we fixed the sub and finished our experiments. The dive was just too important. Every dive gives us glimpses at things few people ever get to see. Glowing creatures, fiery undersea volcanoes. When we got back to the surface, I kissed the ground and called my mom, of course. But you know what? I wouldn't trade that dive for anything.
Dr. Figueroa uses her passion for STEM to discover new things and make the world a better place. She can STEM, so can you. Check out She Can STEM for more stories and inspiration. A message from the Ad Council.
Somewhere beneath the static, there's an archive, a record of every word we've ever spoken on the air.
Accessing the archive. Warning. Emotional residue detected.
Don't open that. Not again. Not again.
I'm not afraid of Ghost Machine. I just want to remember what we used to sound like.
Memory fragment restored. Playing back.
479 area code. You're on the air with who he's speaking with.
Hey.
Oh, call Joe and make him laugh. That's what, yeah. Style my hair, breathe on my neck. Yeah, get going.
There you go. Hey. Damn. What I was looking for.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, that's us from before.
You're tuned to Fringe FM, where memory transmits forever.
Let's see if I can
At Lunamart,
find
we've
this.
got everything you need for your next reality jump. Rations, radios, and replacement soles. Open 24 hours a day on most timelines. Lunamart, now serving realities 4 through 6.
Lunamart, man. The Shadow Corpse, baby. Yeah, what's up, Jesse? Long time no see you. So we got Jesse in the house. It's good to see you. You guys make sure you keep it tuned in to Fringe FM up until Halloween. We're going to be doing Easter eggs. I've got some Easter eggs planned and some giveaways planned, along with Alex Exum's drama show, and we might do some other cool stuff too. We'll see what's going on. Might be just a crazy day. What I'd like, you know what I'd really like to do? Is I'd like to make it to where it becomes a tradition where we have a whole bunch of people listen to Fringe FM on Halloween night. Just because we have such cool stuff going on Halloween. It may take me a little while to get it that cool, but you can bet I'm going to try. Because it's my favorite time of the year. I don't know about you guys, and you guys in the production room either, but, well, I guess maybe it's different in Australia for Sudi. I don't know. But here, for me, once Halloween hits, then it's like November the 1st. It gets darker sooner. You know, that stuff's already happening. And then you got Christmas and New Year's and the dead of winter. And some people like winter. I like everything from like April, or I guess, maybe March, end of March, all the way to Halloween night. And then the rest of it, I just want to just get through for some reason. It's weird. But yeah, no, tonight we're talking about, the hell were we talking about? What was I talking about? You guys remember? I don't know.
The horse you manifested into your house?
That was in the beginning. A horse did show up like in the, practically almost in the shack. But I was talking about, I'm getting old. I hope that doesn't happen to me. Dude, like when we get on the air 4 nights a week and just sit there and go,
Somebody rewind.
No, I was talking about what happens to us when we get nudged, like our intuition. Are we being guided by our future selves? Like what Monroe was actually talking about, you know?
So you had said, why do you think it's always when it's going to be something bad? Maybe because we don't want that thing to happen.
Yeah.
Like we don't really get it when it's a good thing. We might make the decision, but we don't feel that or that oh shit feeling or whatever it is you feel when you know it's going to be bad.
Yeah, I feel like
because
our first
doing that or it didn't happen.
Right. I feel like our first intuitive thing that comes to us. It's just like when you do tarot, man. I mean, I usually don't do tarot for readings. I use it for like other things, you know, but it's kind of like that. Like say when you do tarot and you flip a card and let's say you don't know anything about the symbols on the card. There's still an intuitive thing that you get from the card, that first intuitive thing. But what happens after that is you start protecting yourself because you don't want to sound stupid or you don't want to hurt yourself or you don't want to be tricked. And the moment you get into that protecting yourself, that's the ego trying to protect you. The first thing that happened was your intuitive thought. And it works the other way around when like we're trying to protect ourselves and we're like, you know, maybe that was just a horse that just showed up and that's my first intuitive thought. It was just a horse that showed up. It was lost. That's it. But then my ego comes around later and is like, no, it was an omen. It was meant just for me and only me because I'm special. Let me look up what that omen means. It means that I'm going to be traveling across dimensions. It means I'm going to be taking a great journey in life. And I start reading all the stuff that makes me feel good. You see what I'm saying? Like the first intuitive message that you get is usually pretty close to the truth. Bringing back what I said about a lot of women that I know can spot just in my experience, they can spot fake shit way easier than I see a lot of guys in the conspiracy world. That's fake. This is fake. That's fake. I've never met anybody that can spot something fake or inauthentic faster than a woman that's tapped into her intuition, right? Or creepy dudes, shit like that, like we were talking about before. So it's a real thing, you know, but is it being guided by something, you know, higher than yourself? And you'd mentioned deja vu, right? Like, well, maybe that's what deja vu is like the recognition from all of our other selves kind of thing. Maybe. What if? But the cool thing is we can get to know the truth about this if we're willing to explore our own consciousness. And a lot of what I'm saying is rhetorical because I already know the answer to some of this, but what will end up happening when you truly explore your own consciousness, like who you really are, trying to get out of body, meditation, other methods, okay? You'll be forced into an authentic place so much that you will not relate to anybody. And it's a very lonely place, and you got to get past that. And once you get past that, it's all gravy, baby. But yeah, maybe our future selves are the signal that just echo back through time, guiding us toward a timeline that where we finally wake up. I hate that phrase though. Wake up from the dream, wake up from the matrix, because it makes it seem like this place is such a prison. It can be a prison for sure, but it doesn't have to be. And if time is not, all right, let's jump into the whole time thing because I'll ramble all night. You guys are going to have to step on me tonight. I've had a lot of coffee today, man. So, if time is not aligned like we think it is, past, present, future, like, what if it's like a spiral? Okay, so then every direction or every decision that we make would echo both forward and backwards. So in a sense, when we make a decision right now, I know it sounds crazy, but we're even helping our past self come into the future from another timeline or dimension. Like, I know that sounds weird, but maybe synchronicities are the language of our future selves. Breadcrumbs kind of across the spiral. I think about the last time that life felt scripted to you, too perfect or just too eerie to be random. Or you getting that Groundhog Day thing where, you know, like every day is exactly the same, like that 9 Inch Nails song. What if that wasn't coincidence? Like, what if that was a version of you farther up the spiral, making sure you just stayed on a path? And you thought it might be torture, but it's just making sure that you stay on a certain path. That would kind of suck. But what if, like right now, these questions, these what if questions we're asking isn't really predicting the future. It's us remembering it.
Leading us back to where we fell astray.
Yeah, like you know how Monroe says, well, life is a school and all this other stuff. It's a spiritual school. But what if it's just a process of remembering? Think about it. It could be. I mean, that's not saying it's not a school. But when you start to wake up, you really are. And think about that word itself, the etymology of it, remember. When you start to remember, you think you're learning things through a past and present and future timeline. But really, you could just be growing in consciousness and remembering yourself or remembering things. That's what all of the mythologies tell us that's happening. Even the fall of Lucifer, the fall of the angels, the fall of you, the Greek mythologies, that's the story they tell us. Maybe they're trying to throw us a bone in that. But I'd like to hear from you guys because, you know, I don't want to just keep hearing from myself. Like, have you ever felt guided by something that was you, but not yet you? Maybe a dream that later played out exactly, or a life-saving hesitation that came out of nowhere, you know? Jenny's laughing. She's like, I've had about 1 million of those, huh?
Yeah, exactly. Where you were talking about those little intuitions. Like if I happen to look at my phone while I'm driving, or if I'm stuck at traffic and I just happen to look up exactly when the light turns. But it happens so many times for it just to be a coincidence. Or I can sense that guy's going to cut me off in 2 seconds without putting his blinker on. Sure enough, that'll happen. And you guys heard me when I'm on the phone coming home from work, yelling at everybody because there are a bunch of jerks out there. And it just happened way too many times for me personally for it to be a coincidence.
Yeah, so you guys could hear this. You could hear this too. You're more than welcome to join us in the Discord. Like Sunday nights, we do movie night, and we watch the movies that make us think, like crazy movies, not gory movies, but crazy movies. And every night Jenny's getting off of work when we do the movie nights, and she's always cussing somebody. I wouldn't say cussing them out, but somebody always cuts her off in traffic. And you start to feel like, what if that's a spiral? Because I can't remember one Sunday when that hasn't been like.
I know. Maybe I should just stop work on Sundays.
Mm-hmm.
Stay home.
Sometimes the future doesn't shout, it just hums quietly, waiting for us to listen. And sometimes maybe the same guy has to keep cutting you off in traffic till you get the message, Take a different road, or you're too far out. Get a different job, Jenny. No, I'm just playing.
But even with the dream too, sorry. I had something happen last night where I was dreaming with a friend from work, and we were chatting, and I just remember her having this bright red sweater on, and I walk into work and she has that exact same sweater on that I jumped her with last night. I walked right out because it freaked me out.
Yeah, that is kind of trippy. I mean, I know I sound like I'm babbling, but let me break this down to you in nursery rhymes, Close your eyes even if you can. Imagine like this crazy great. Let's see if I got maybe I got some nursery rhyme music I can play or something while I'm doing this here. I don't know if I do. I should have something that like I could play that you would play to a kid as you're putting them to sleep.
Yeah.
Let's see. What about this one? Yeah, here we go. Nursery rhyme. No, can't. Not that one. Let's see. All right, let's try this one. Okay, nursery rhyme for you. Let me put it in symbols. So, just imagine that time is this great river. I'm gonna get really woo with you here, okay? And you're standing in one current, but there's other currents, and each one another version of you drifting towards the same ocean. You can tell this is written, right? It's so beautiful. And somewhere upstream, your future self is standing on the shore, calling your name. You feel it. That pull in your chest, that whisper in your thoughts. That's the echo of tomorrow. I'm going to make a commercial and do that way better. But that's a woo version of it, though. Like maybe free will and fate aren't enemies. It's like some kind of dance. We think shit's going so bad. It's so chaotic. My life sucks so bad. I don't know why this stuff keeps happening to me. And yet you're actually being guided somewhere you're supposed to go. So especially every time you trust your gut, maybe you're not guessing, like you're listening, I know this is fact. For me, this is a fact. Okay? But if I tell you why I know this, you're not going to believe me. This is why, I've made this whole void walking thing. Like, I want you to explore your own consciousness with an open heart and an open mind, with no preconceived notions and an ability to learn whatever happens to come your way. I promise you, the moment you start going, oh man, what if I get tricked? What if I'm just opening myself up to all these entities? What if the demiurge is going to take my body and take it to some other dimension somewhere? Like, the moment you start doing that, it's all over. It's over. But if you just trusted yourself, even the deepest parts of yourself, try it. Do magic, hell, even. Do rituals, ceremony, prayer, whatever it takes to actually just trust yourself. Do a 4-day protection ritual till you trust yourself. And then from that moment, like, just be open to anything that your consciousness takes you through. Let it be an adventure, not for the rest of your life. Don't get crazy with it. You know how, like, some people do a 90-day carnivore challenge or a veggie diet challenge? Do a 90-day there challenge. Just 90 days. And see what happens. Life is not a bitch. It's not a problem to solve. It doesn't have certain this or that. It's just an adventure, and every problem is just another little adventure in your little Peter Pan thing, and I'm just going to follow my instinct where it takes me. Maybe not 90 days for some people. Maybe 90 days is, I'll do it for 90 days, but maybe try it for 3 days. You know? Just 3 days. Then tell me what happens. If I'm full of shit, then I want to know. You know, because I could be full of shit. I could have just made all this up. But I would really like you to do that. I don't know why. It would make me happy. Feels a little cultish, doesn't it? Like, now I'm trying to get people to, like, I promise I won't be, like, trying to get you to drink Kool-Aid or do anything stupid. I swear on everything. It does feel a little cultish.
I'll make Kool-Aid.
Now that I'm saying it, right? It's like, see, now I'm doubting my gut. See what I'm doing? My gut instinct told me to tell you what I just said. But now my ego's taking over going, no, now you see you're trying to start a cult and everyone's going to hate you and they're going to think you're this. No. Nope. But it does sound kind of cultish. It's all, dude, like, you guys ever heard speaking of which, I am taking a left turn here. But have you ever heard the Jonestown, like, tapes? Like, the actual tapes?
No, I have not.
Don't listen to it.
I won't.
Because it is the creepiest thing. Like, this guy in the background, you could hear people, like, drinking Kool-Aid and crying and all this stuff. He's like, it's okay, folks. Everything's all right. I know you're scared, but don't be worried. That's what was going through my head when I was saying that. I'm like, damn, I sound like the Jonestown guy, you know. But that's what he was saying to those people. Just have a drink and we'll move on to the other side and it will be in paradise and we'll be away from this god-awful, terrible place. That's how also, I'm bringing that up too, because that's also how powerful and messed up your ego is. It'll protect you so much, and you'll be the victim that it's trying to protect so much that you'll follow it onto some reality thing, you know, past this life where you're actually meant to come to this place and turn it into a paradise, no matter how many lifetimes it takes for consciousness to have this place to really experience stuff. But instead, your ego, the fear has taught you to just, things are going to be better, man, when I'm on the other side of this place. It's just, I'm going to go up to heaven. I'm going to get 40, what is it, 70 or 40 virgins? Which one is it?
Why would you want that many? That sounds exhausting.
Anybody that's ever been with one virgin would be like, I don't know if I can handle, there's no way in hell. Like 70. Is it 70 or 40?
I don't know. I don't want any.
Come on, man.
I think what denomination are we talking about here?
I mean, I'm not saying all that because I don't want to offend anybody, but you know, it's like every religion every belief system has a thing that it's like a carrot, you know, that's being held in front of you. When you, you know, just be a good boy, be a good girl. And then once you finally get out of here, you'll get to experience real bliss, you know. It's like these people don't even read their own books sometimes. This place is supposed to be heaven, this place now. And I don't even think it means the earth. I just think it means like now, the present moment. Whether it's dense reality or not, you know.
Someone's saying 7, someone's saying 72. That's still too many.
That's a lot. That's a lot. I don't want 70 of anything, you know, anything. Christy Belly. I saw some Jim Jones videos, so bizarre, hundreds of pimps, hive mind shit. Then some started saying WTF and escaped. Yeah, some people did. There were people trying to get away because they realized what was going on. Yep. But are you guys going to do it? I'll do it for the next 3 days. Just a small adventure. You can stop. Like at your job, if you got to do business, maybe don't do it there because you'll probably drive yourself crazy. But the rest of your time, for like 72 hours, just follow wherever your first instinct takes you. First one. And you know how you know it's the first one? Because when you're having thoughts and trying to like negate your first thought, those are the ones I don't want you to follow.
Joe, if I do that, I'm not going to work tomorrow.
Okay, don't.
And we
go
have
work.
a big event going on. We have a huge event going on.
Yeah, but what do you does your instinct tell you not to go? It just did. Didn't it?
Yeah.
You think you'll get fired? I mean, you might get fired.
No.
What if they get mad at you? What if they don't like you after?
Let's do an experiment and try and get Ginny fired.
Yeah. What if they fire you? What if they don't like you? What if you're no longer the favorite person in the kitchen tomorrow?
I hope I'm not that person right now, because I'm expected to do things.
So maybe your higher self just said, maybe you shouldn't go in. Maybe you should do what you want to do. No, don't listen to me. Don't listen to me.
For the next 3 days, guys, let's all try and think of how to get Ginny fired.
Yeah. Don't listen to me on that, because I'd feel so bad if you're like, hey, I really didn't go to work. And that's why I said, if it has any, like, don't mess with your careers, I guess. But me personally, I might be like, oh, well, the voice did say not to go. I'm telling you guys. Listen, I'm telling you guys, I took a 3-year. Look, I'll just say this. I lived in Arkansas my whole life, my entire life. It's a sad thing. Not very cultured, not at all, honestly. And when I started, let's just say a few years ago, I really dove as deep as I could. And back then I called it magic, right? But because I was doing ceremonial magic, still do to this day. But what I was really doing was allowing, kind of like Monroe allowed in that, second place, I let the higher self take over, all the way over. Just like when Christians go, Jesus, take the wheel. It's the same thing. I was doing the same damn thing, and I stayed with it. And it was the coolest time of my life. I traveled all over this country during COVID, by the way. While everybody was scared, trying to hide, I saw mountains, Niagara Falls, the Red Rocks of Sedona. I moved all over the country. The station was more successful than it ever had been. And I was doing shit that people are going, wow, dude, you're crazy. Or I wouldn't do that. And there was a voice in my head going, man, I shouldn't do that either. That's crazy. I just pick up and just drive across the desert. Like, this is insane, But now that I look back on it, I would be so freaking heartbroken if none of that stuff never happened. I experienced some things during that time that were like, I don't even have the words to tell you guys. Synchronicities and manifestations back to back to back to back. I got friends that are on this journey right now. They're like, hell, I sold everything, man, and I just listened to that voice, and I'm just going for it, and they're following that voice all the time. It's almost till it becomes second nature. I'm not telling you guys to do this. I'm just telling you what happened to me. My life.
I kind of do that though, Joe, when nothing really happens, to be honest.
Well, then I don't know what to tell you.
No, well, but I'm happy. I mean, like I live a life that I'm happy with, but
maybe that's what that's what the I there wants you to live. The life you're living now.
I think so.
But my I there wanted me to get the hell up on out of here. It really did.
Yeah.
It wanted me to go see the beach. It wanted me to go see this country. It wanted me to meet all the people I met. And there were weeks and days where I was like, man, what am I going to do about money? I have no job. I'm just following this dream that I want to do. Like, what am I going to do? And then every time I started worrying about it, shit would happen. It would make it hard. But when I stopped, I'd just be like, hell with it. Something will give. I just need to stay, keep following the path. God provided. And you know what? He provided through people, because people are the kingdom of heaven. Remember that. Like, we're all one thing. You personally aren't going to get anywhere like super successful in life all by your damn self. It just don't work that way. Point is don't do anything crazy, but just try it. If you're scared, try it a little bit. See what happens. I mean, at the very least, I can assure you that the thing that you're trying to protect yourself from, the fear thing, the ego thing, the probabilities of what you're afraid of that's going to happen, if you really looked at it like mathematically and scientifically, if you really got down into that crazy world, so much lower than nothing happening or something good happening. In fact, most of the time, the thing that you're most afraid of doesn't happen most of the time. What usually happens is either nothing or something cool, or you made a wrong decision and you can change it. But if you just stay there and protect yourself, this voice that Monroe is talking about, not only is it not talking to you in the out-of-body experience, which you probably will never get to experience because you're in constant protection mode, but it's not going to talk to you in the earth experience. Hell yeah. I know it sounds crazy, but like, I feel like I needed to get that off my chest for a while now. I just got this massive sense of like relaxation in my shoulders when I said all that. I feel like I've been needing to say that for 2 years to you guys. Just try it for a few days. It's almost like if you go through it, you might want to stay with it. And then if you stay with it, you might keep going. And then you never know. Like sometimes the things will feel like a mirror showing you who you're going to become. You can change yourself. And if that voice in your head isn't just imagination, it could be just you reaching back through time going, oh, finally, you're listening. Like, don't go to work, Jenny. Get fired and go get the job you always wanted. You get fired. Oh, no, then I can't pay the bills. Oh, no. Like, what if you just were such a badass that wouldn't even matter?
Here's the trick, though. If you're going to do that,
don't listen to what I'm saying.
I do think that it works. I genuinely believe, I live my life literally just doing what I want all the time. I don't do anything I don't want to do, and I've lived that way for like a long time. Awesome. But I think like with regards to Ginny's job and everything, it will work. But the thing is, if she says, I don't want to go into work today, I'd rather do this instead, you'd need to go do the other thing. Like, let's just say it was going to the beach. You'd need to go and fully be there and not feel bad about not going to work. Yeah. So you'd have to basically disconnect from that reality. You can't sort of try and hedge your bets. And then like, if you're going to commit to it, you commit to it 100% and go and love your day and not even think about work and be happy with the decision and not feel any guilt or fear or anything. And then it works, but it's
who wants to take a day off and feel all that shit anyways? Like, why'd you even take a day off if you're just going to feel guilty all day? You know?
Yeah, then human nature. Worse off probably than if I actually went to work.
Here's the thing, though. I could be, a cult mentality hedonist that's just trying to get everybody to do what I'm doing because it validates me. You never know. What is the
I'm
voice
getting some L. Ron Hubbard vibes here, Joe.
What is the voice telling you? Right? Am I here to hurt you or mess up your life? I could be for my own validation. For my own purposes, for my own manipulative little purposes. Or could be the other thing. I don't know, man. This is the thing. Like, if you can't navigate that world that I just said, those two frames, because I know that's the big two frames, but like, if you can't navigate that in the real world, imagine what it's like in the out-of-body experience when shit's like you get out and even a lucid dream and symbols are popping up everywhere and you don't know what the hell to do, or you're in an actual etheric out-of-body experience and you see a portal. Like, you're just going to be like I am, just stuck next to your bed, being pulled back to your body going, well, I'm just going to go fly in the tree, I guess, for a little bit. That's it. I struggle with it too, man. Like, I'm only talking about this stuff as concepts. So if you want to do this in a safe, balanced way, just practice it on things that really won't scare the hell out of you. Try that. Usually you'll manifest those things a lot easier because they don't matter to you so much. For some reason, when things really don't matter to you that much, they tend to manifest a hell of a lot easier.
Like, maybe a good way to start, like, for people who aren't used to being like what society would call selfish or, self-centered, because that's a lot of people think that you are that way if you just do what you want to do when you want to do it.
Sure.
But like, maybe a good way to start for people who feel that way is to, whenever, like if they come across something where they hear in their mind, oh, I should do this, like I should go and empty the dishwasher, or I should put that laundry on, and take that opportunity to go, well, what would I rather do instead of this? Because that's obviously going to be something small. So the next should that you get, practice with the next should. That's not going to,
That's right,
leave you
Jenny.
out
So just do it with the laundry. Don't quit your job, Just do it with the laundry.
Got it. No,
look up.
No. There's something to be said. Look, there's something to be said about balance in all of this. The spiritual world, the physical world, the conscious, the unconscious, masculine, feminine, being selfish or being totally generous. There's something to be said about balance in all of this. The middle earth, so to speak. You should be like, think about the cause and effect, like what Sudi's saying too. I'm not saying be a hedonist. I'm saying figure out how to listen to the voice that's guiding you through your dreams, synchronicities, your first intuitions, and symbols. That's all I'm saying. I'm just playing with you about the whole hedonist thing. I mean, by all means, do what you want, but if you look in history, every person, Manly P. Hall has a big lecture about this, that just does as they please all the time, no matter what. Especially people that want to build empires and do great things, and they just do what they please all the time. If you really sit back and look at it, and they're not thinking about others or being responsible for others, and all they're thinking about is themselves, which we've been trained to do one way or another, it screws shit up. It screws up society. When you don't have integrity, especially. I can tell you from my own personal experience that if you start anything in the wrong way, it will never work out the right way. And when I mean right, I mean the natural way. I don't believe that this voice, this intuition, and this is just only my opinion, but this voice, this intuition, these symbols, these synchronicities, if it truly is your higher self, I don't think that it's going to lead you down a direction that's going to personally give you bad integrity or hurt others or be irresponsible to others. There's a difference between listening to that and being a hedonist. And
the thing is as well, I find
believe me.
Yeah. The thing is, like, I feel that you, or for me anyway, you kind of, it's something that comes on gradually. So you start out with like listening to yourself more and start out, going, no, I want to do this. And no, I'm not going to set an alarm for myself and this, that, the other. It's like you slowly build up to the life where you are just doing whatever you want all the time. I don't think it's something like you transition to overnight. For me anyway, I couldn't do that. I had to build up to it. And when basically for me, doing what I want, whenever I want, looks like just making music all day. It's not like I'm there trying to
Not like you're hurting anybody,
millions
right?
more dollars and this, that, the other, or
Right.
It's really very basic and just core. Like that's what my true self wants me to do. It's
There you go.
very non-intrusive on anyone else, doesn't hurt anyone else, and
That's what I
think,
mean by nature. I think nature set it up that way, like with us. Like, look, I'm not a super wise guy. I'm only in my 40s, man. Like, you got to be like in 60s, 70s, 80s before you can even be, quote, considered even a bit wise, right? Because you got libraries of experience. But I can say this, everything that I started out in the wrong way, and what I mean against nature, against consciousness, everything that I started out where I didn't consider that somebody involved might get hurt other than me, right? Somebody. It could be somebody I don't even know. Everything that I started out that didn't happen in integrity, whether it's business, relationships, health, whatever, like any of that stuff, always turned out wrong. It never worked out. Never. And everything that I started out where I asked myself, am I going to hurt anybody? Am I forcing anything on anybody's will? Make sure that happens first. Is this going to better my life and other people's life too in some kind of way? Those things always worked out. I don't know why. I think it's nature. Look at what, especially people that's like, I'm going to conquer and build empires and do look what happens to those people. I'm going to be the greatest magician in the world and do whatever. Look what happens to them. Napoleon. Look at how all of these people died. Hitler, and I'm saying big names, but what happens to regular people that don't go down in history? They could tell you the same story. I was hurting myself, or I'm hurting other people, or I try to enforce my will, or I manipulated others. Like, I guarantee you that your higher self doesn't want you to do that. I can't guarantee it, but I can almost guarantee it that it doesn't really want you to do that. It's probably trying to guide you, like what Sudi's talking about. Do you enjoy doing music? What others enjoy listening to your music? Are you hurting anybody, or you hurting yourself? Like, no, hell no. Do it. Like, Jenny, if you miss work tomorrow, are you hurting anybody, or just take off work? You'll be fine.
No, I'm not off work.
Don't listen to the voice. Don't listen to what I'm saying.
There's too many things happening.
Yeah, because you're being responsible. Nature's telling you, I'd love to take off work, but there's a big banquet tomorrow, right?
Mm-hmm.
It will hurt people. It will hurt the team. See, that's not what I'm not trying to get people to do that at all. But I do want people to look, dreams, symbols, synchronicities, out-of-body experiences. And the first, especially this whole night, is about that first intuition that you get. Think about all the times you failed in life, right? And you're like, oh, I'm a failure. And, that's where depression comes from, focusing on your failures in the past. And anxiety is all about focusing on the future that ain't there yet. But think about all that. But there's always that first voice that's like, no, you're not. There's that voice. Like, some people don't hear it, but it's there all the time. You're not a failure, man. There is really no such thing as failure. You're learning. You're remembering, like the rest of us are. No big deal. So just those things. If you follow those things, the synchronicities, the first intuitions, the symbols, I'm missing one. There were 4. Dream symbols, right? Then you'll learn that something is trying to speak to you. Is it the I there? Is it what Monroe talks about, the I there? He could be projecting that whole thing into his story. Is it your I there? Magicians call it your holy guardian angel. I believe Jung calls it something too. I forget what he calls it. Call it whatever you want, but just learn to listen to it. Like deja vu, premonitions, instinct, all these things. These are good things. These are here to guide you. You don't need, and please don't take offense to this. You can use crystals and incense and, do any dance ceremony you want to do, but you don't need those things to listen to these things. If those things help you get in that state, great, but you don't need them to do these things. And then you could become the magician of your own life, in a sense where now you're not just doing the practical earth life, but you're also speaking to your higher self all the time. And as long as you're not hurting anybody, who cares? So at least that's what Socrates said, but I think they poisoned him because he figured that out. He figured out what Monroe was talking about. That's why he's one of the greatest philosophers that ever lived. Because he was getting messages from that I there or whatever. But it scared people because it wasn't normal or whatever, so they killed him. So don't go get yourself killed. Just try it out, in a small way. Like maybe when you leave work tomorrow, Jenny, maybe take the long way home.
Oof, it's already an hour drive.
Okay, that was your first voice. There you go. So don't take the long way home. See what I'm saying? That's part of it. I'll try it for a few days too, but I'm really going to be like, my voice is telling me to finish the Halloween stuff. So I may take tomorrow off, Friday off, Sunday off. Might even take off Monday too, because I got something kind of big happening Monday. And, but we'll be back, A lot of these nights I just go on the air just to do it. I don't even really know what the hell I'm going to talk about, but sometimes those turn out to be really fun shows like tonight. Anything else you guys want to mention, say, or whatever before we roll out of here?
Yeah, I think I missed the bit. Well, I missed the bit about where you were talking about not wanting to go into work, Ginny. But like into just building on what you were saying, Joe, about listening to the voice. 100% I agree with that. Just can't say enough how much I agree with it. But listening to it means that if it's saying, like I said, I don't know the situation, Ginny, but if it's saying like, I don't want to go into work tomorrow, listening to it means going, okay, so how am I going to get out of this situation then? Like longer term, like, okay, I'm going to go in tomorrow, but that message, that voice is telling me something that I need to do something about. So for me, I was like, I don't want to work a 9-to-5 job. Like I have to be sitting at a desk and be there when they tell me and leave when they let me go. And I just didn't want to live my life like that. So I thought, well, how can I get out of this? Like, how else can I arrange my life? What else can I do? How can I make money? Blah, 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 blah. So yeah, like I said, I don't know what it is with work for you, but I think that's important about listening to the voice. It doesn't always mean like acting on it then and there. Like it's telling you, in my experience anyway, it's guiding you for like, hey, longer term, this is something that you should look at.
Yeah, for sure. And
if you're not happy now, you're not going to be happy long term. So the voice is there to tell you something, you know?
One last thing too, you don't ever have anything to prove to anybody. Like here's the thing, like when you really start listening to this voice, knowing your life might be so unique that it's not going to be validated by anything or anyone else. That's the hardest part, right? That's the hardest part. When you get to that place, like it's, make sure you ask those bigger questions about hurting people and stuff, of course, but like you'll start living a life where there's no way no one's going to be like, yeah, there'll be more people that don't get it sometimes than they will get it. If you look at the overall picture, and you can't, comparing yourself, the only thing you should listen to, I'm saying, is the authentic you, or this I there. Comparing yourself to others will be your first mistake. It will be your first mistake and your first detour away from that voice. I promise you that. What's up, Not Crazy, Just Woke podcast? I feel that digression can also be from the feeling of not being truly loved or cared about. Yeah. I get that, dude. I go through that all the time because I want so desperately and deeply. I get really thirsty for like deep love, but also you have to remember, when you're really thirsty for love, you're not focusing on. If you focus on it too much, and I know that place probably comes from a neglected point in your life or something, but if you focus on it too much, you'll start forgetting the fact that you're not actually loving anyone while you're focusing on being loved. There's really a catch-22 with love, but once the union happens, once you can get there, it's great. Whether it's friends, partners, whatever. It's funny, in order to care for others or consider it also takes them to accept your consideration. Some souls are all about manipulation, I feel, intertwining with others in a mistake. Listen, I understand, especially if you were a child that got emotionally manipulated or neglected your whole life, but I get triggered when people manipulate me. I get pissed off, actually. But I'm trying to learn and teach myself, like, as I get older, the only reason why that person's manipulating me is because they're hurt. That's not my problem. It sucks that they're hurt. I'm going to give them my true self, but that's all I'm going to give them, just for a moment. That's it. I love them the best I can in the moment that I have with them, and any of their pain, because manipulation comes from ego protection, which comes from pain, which comes from fear and anger and all that Yoda stuff. You just have to realize it's not your shit and still love them anyways. Try to. And then follow me tomorrow as we become completely hedonistic and we all quit our jobs. Good night. Sweet dreams. No, I'm just joking. Love you guys. Night night.
One's blight to another's paradise of unpolished gems plucked from the dollar bins. Dust mites are crawling in. Don't put me in the box with them. I need oxygen so I can say my like an extended olive limb. When the public square turned into a coliseum, the plans to opt out the panopticon, buy a plot of land, reduce the Babel Tower to a pile of sand, and find a portal to the time before the fall of man. It all began, so I'm told, with the sound. Then along came a rogue out to steal the king's
Jim, just out of curiosity,
Eyes on
like,
the
what would you rather be doing than like, what you're currently doing
Fire in the
work-wise?
stomach,
Like, if you could
pride
make a
before the
living
plummet.
any way
All the true
possible, what would you
progress to offset his aims is now empty platitudes and cosmetic change. The priests traded in their black robes for white lab coats, sniffing out dissent from the shadows in the back roads. So it moves and meanders, and warps and distorts when viewed through news cameras. Some open, some doors slam shut. There's bullet holes in armpits. They said that he refused to put his hands up. The rules have changed, it's new terrain. The manufactured tools used to drain the blue running through your veins are billowing smoke like moving trains. And taking aim at every cubit of our souls in the losing game. The world stage is set. Engage the battle with the shadows that the state rejects. And the fixed game of chess. The loudest ones never practice what they profess and point
put into it. Do you know what I mean?